Welcome to my channel. My name is Berk and I help coaches attract pre-sold clients without using paid ads.
Who do we have here today? We got Burkhan Mustafa, right? He has actually coached me in 2021 already when he was doing theme pages. And after that, you switched to sales and personal brands. Is that correct?
Yes, that
And
is
now you're
100%.
doing that. So what exactly
Yes.
do you do?
Yeah, so currently the thing that I'm doing, I'm mainly helping coaches and also again, theme page owners with scaling their businesses organically. When I say organically, what do I mean? I mean without using any paid ads, without using any funnels or any complicated tech. Everything that we do in terms of scaling is using personal branding and the power of social media, like Instagram and Facebook. Currently, that is my main focus. As I said, Martin, things changed. Of course, I first started with theme pages, went into sales coaching. Now I'm here. Again, just a lesson from the beginning of people.
Sure.
Our niches always change. And of course, based on our expertise, always going to change. The thing here is always to get started. And that's the thing I'm currently doing, Martin. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, sure. You know, what I wanted to talk about you today was a little bit personal stuff. And the reason for that is not because it's kind of interesting, but when you coached me in 2021, you did not only teach me stuff about theme pages, but you also showed me stuff about confidence, which you've probably gained in sales. And that was so interesting to me because nobody ever talked about this. You showed me some poses you could do, which I found very interesting. I actually never seen that before. And from then on, you always seemed the person that also, like, for example, you go to the gym a lot. You can see that, by the way. Congrats. And
thank you.
That always doing these little personal things, and you also talk about them sometimes that kind of make your business grow, I think. And I had a question, like, what kind of personal habits now with sales and personal brand and helping coaches, like what kind of personal habits do you have that are beneficial for your business right now?
That is a great question, Martin. And first of all, I just want to say that all of these personal development habits and everything that I do is a direct reflection of my business. Of course, my business is a reflection of me, so I always try to take care of myself. And some of the habits that, I am using and doing on a daily basis. First of all, I go to the gym. That is, I would say, a non-negotiable. Taking care of our health should be a priority for everyone, no matter if this is a business owner or just a normal person. Taking care of our health is the most important thing. Something I do also in terms of this confidence, getting outside of my comfort zone, and something that I find truly powerful is doing coach hours, which has been a game changer for me. Of course, those coach hour has different benefits like physical, but for me it is all about the mental benefits. Going into the freezing cold water is one of the hardest things, and it never gets easier. So that's why, those cold showers, I would say, have been the game changer for me. I get used to do hard things. I'll get used with their rejections, and of course this has again reflection on my confidence and at the same time reflection on the business. Because for example, in the coaching business and in all kind of businesses, we face rejections on a daily basis, and we just need to get used to that. We just need to get used into getting outside of our comfort zone. Another beneficial habit that I do is meditation. I just do 10 minutes meditation every single day, because most of the time, again, as business owners and as people, we need to get over our emotions. When I say this, I mean we need to have full control of our emotions and make logical decisions all the time. Making logical decisions, again, has been a game changer for me. For example, again, when I face rejections on a sales call, when I see a hate comment, I try to just stay calm and take over my emotions, being in the moment. Especially nowadays with social media, our attention spans are reducing, and then meditation itself, again, it has tons of positive benefits, and I won't go through all of them individually. For people interested, they can always find information and so on. And the last personal development habit I'm doing is reading non-fiction books. This was something I was doing constantly last year, but at the end of the year I kind of stopped. I didn't see the value in it, which was a mistake. But like a few months ago, I again started reading because I think it is super powerful just to get inside the head of someone else, like get all of their experience in just like this tiny amount of pages. So I would say those are like the 4 habits I'm doing that has reflection on my personal life and at the same time reflection in my business.
That is awesome. That was what 3 things already, and so detailed. There's actually 2 things that I find quite interesting. First of all, meditation. I think it also has a lot to do about like this confidence thing. I've worked with clients who were first of all quite scared when somebody rejected them, which is I think pretty normal if you're a complete beginner. And I've also worked with Greg. He's a performance coach with his program Cloud9 Theory, and he taught me so much about meditation, which I found very interesting. And then you got reading. And in a video, you said that you read 30 pages a day for a whole year. Is that right? Was that right?
And that is 100% right. And I got this trick.
I'm really the guy who doesn't read much. I do read, but I must say I'm pretty lazy with it. Maybe because, I don't know, my dopamine is a little bit too high at the moment. That might be a case. Maybe it's I just more the video guy. But you say that you don't read as much as you do now. Did you read all books you ever want to read, or why exactly is that?
Yeah, like the reason why I stopped like this trick was I got like into a premium coaching program, and there one of the principle was like information regulation. That is something I realized I needed a lot, because previous like with those 30 pages every single day, you just like consume information. And the missing part for me was applying the thing that I learned, and that's when I actually stopped with that. But as I mentioned previously, I'm again starting like reading slowly. I'm not like reading those 30 pages again. I just read like 10 pages, something like this, before sleep. And again, another hack that's people can use in terms of those self-development. When reading before bed, it is like super beneficial for our sleep, since I don't use my phone like before that. So it takes me around like 30 minutes and so, to take over those 10 pages, depends on the book. So I have like this 30 minutes without any kind of blue light, and then the quality of the sleep I have is amazing.
I have the same thing. I think sleep quality is super dependent on what you do before sleep.
Yes, that's right.
I used to have a condition like 2 years ago that it was neurological, and in that time I couldn't use my phone very much because I didn't know what it was about yet. So I thought it would come from the phone, and actually as soon as I started to not be on my phone in the evening, I slept so much better. It's actually insane. I think combining that with the gym and stuff, I think overall health is so good for business, and it's just immense. What kind of books do you read that help with personal brand, that help with coaching or sales? Like what kind of books do you read there? Do you want to share some, or?
Yeah, I would love to share some books. Of course, like most of the books that I read are not like directly correlated with sales, but some of the books that's I can recommend everyone, and of course those are the books that everyone knows. First of all, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is like a game changer for sales for everyone, no matter if you're a coaching or whatever industry. Communication is the most important skill, because we are in business with humans, not all other businesses. We are not in coaching, we are not in agency, we're in business with humans. That's why communication is the most important thing. And apart from that, like the books I'm mainly reading are just overall stuff about business, personal development, mindset, because again, I would say those books helps a lot with forming your mindset, like showing a different perspective. When you see when you get the experience of someone else, like a lot of like new things are open to you, and then you can just think on a bigger level, which again like has this direct impact. So yeah, that was like one of the books, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. All of the Grant Cardone books are amazing in terms of sales, which I highly recommend. For coaching and personal branding, who is the G? That is Russell Brunson. So his books Expert Secret and .com Secret again are recommended by me. So yeah, those are like the books I can recommend to people.
Yeah, Russell Brunson has built a great brand. Actually, I see his ads all over Instagram, and they're actually pretty catchy. It's very good. I haven't read any of his books. Which one do you recommend? Does he have one book? How many books does he have?
He has 3 books,
Three
if I'm not
books.
mistaken,
Yeah.
like .com Secret, Expert Secret,
Yeah.
and Traffic Secret.
Yeah.
.com Secret is mainly about like building funnels and so on. Expert Secret is actually about like coaching, like how to turn your expertise into like online coaching program, like how to tell your story, which is the most important thing. When you tell your
Yeah.
story, I would say you would get the attention of people and get them as
Yeah.
clients. And the Traffic Secret, I haven't read it, so I don't know what is it all
Yeah.
about.
That's fun though. All of these like personal things that you do, habits that you have, they influence the business, don't they? Like by a ton. And
That's true.
when I, for example, Greg, who I worked with, like with his program Cloud9 Theory, also asked me, like, if you change little things in your personal life, is business insights better for changing things in business, or is your personal things better? And I always say, when I change my personal stuff, it affects the business more than when I would see or read some books or something, because you just have more output, right?
Yes.
And it's very, very cool. One thing is doing sports. I swim, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the gym. I don't know, what do you do there? Just lifting weights or?
Yeah, mainly lifting weights. I also like practice different types of sports. Like
Yeah.
my favorite is football. Like I'm playing
Yeah.
football as well. So yeah, again, sports like gym and football.
Yeah. And how often do you go to the gym?
Gym is 5 times a week. I do follow like a split push-pull leg
Yeah.
workout
Okay,
without one
cool.
leg workout. So yeah.
Do you know why I'm asking all these questions?
Mhm.
You wanted to be an entrepreneur or a businessman quite early, is that correct? Or
That is
did they come
100%
later?
correct.
I
Yeah.
remember you told a story about starting your own gym in a barn. I would
Mhm.
love to hear that story again, because that was
Yeah.
amazing.
That is actually where the whole GNP stuff come. So not many people know about this story. Like something that not many people know. Like I was kind of chubby fat kid. I was overweighted like my entire life, and of course this also had impact on my confidence. That's why I'm learning all of this confidence stuff, because I didn't have this confidence since when you're a fat kid, everyone is like bullying you and it is hard. And I would say also the fitness journey was the thing that also helped me with starting my business, because when you start developing yourself in one area, then it also has impact in different areas. So long story short, how this like gym in the barn came true. Like with my friends, we were all on the same page at that time. Like we were playing video games and also going to the gym. And we had like just one gym in our town, slash village, like that's where I'm also living. So yeah, we had only one gym, and that was like kind of problem. But we actually decided to do our own. Like we wanted to do something on our own, like have this freedom again to go on this gym whenever we want. Of course, like that other gym, it didn't work like all the time, and we wanted to have something that is ours. So we were just chatting, because always like playing video games, chatting, going out, talking, and we actually decided to create our own gym. Like how? Of woods, like everything, the equipment, and so we like did this with woods. We watched videos to do so, but the only problem there was the place. Like where should we build this gym? Like the houses of each of us were full. Like we don't have like a separate place for an entire gym.
Yeah.
And then we came to a conclusion that we are going to do this in our barn, since like the barn was empty. We had this space, so we built everything on the barn, and that's where the whole GNP stuff come. Like from people now that are from Bulgaria, they will understand what I mean. Like the group of barn in Bulgarian, it is grupata na plevneta, and the first word are G, N, and P. And that's why also that's where G and P come from. And that's where our whole brand is organized, built around.
You know what? It's a great brand, because from the example of me, I know you since 2021, beginning 2021 about, and I still know you just because of the name, probably. Not only, but business GMP just stuck in my head. And it's just the story, once I heard it, was it was amazing. Did you get a customer? Did you have
For what?
customers for
For
your
the
barn,
gym?
Jim?
Oh yeah, like here again, where the whole entrepreneurship journey started, like the founding members, let's say it like this, we were like 5 guys and so
Yeah.
on. And also it sparked the interest in other people in our school. Like our school had around like 300 to 400 people. And of course, like when you live in a village, like information,
Yep.
it travels fast. People
Yep.
knew about this, and we actually got around 3 people that paid us just to come into our gym. And something that we again did with the money we have raised, I remember that we have earned around like 150 level, which is around 70 to 80 USD dollars. And with the money, what we did, we actually reinvested it, and we got like more equipment. When I say equipment, I mean we got weights for the gym. Like from that time, I would say I kind of had this mindset of just reinvesting, getting more. Like that's something I still do in my business. I'm always reinvesting into growth, mentoring, and coaching.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. If I would have done that when I was younger, I'd be dominating already. But we'll see. You know what? Let's move on to from the personal stuff. Let's move on to your business a little bit. You always, and I mean a lot, talk about the differences or the power of organic marketing in comparison to paid traffic.
Yes.
Why is organic marketing so much better for coaches than paid?
Yeah, that is again a great question, Martin. So here I'm going to give you like this explanation that I always give to make like the difference between organic and paid traffic. Something advice that I can give to all people when starting out, when establishing their business, they should always focus on organic marketing until they're at least like 10-15K per month. The reason so is because you still don't have a validated offer. Like, let's be honest, your offer sucks if you're not making like something around 10 to 15K. Your offer still sucks and you need to improve it. You need to validate it, see if the market wants this. And the best thing that you want to do is you want to like get this organic traffic without like spending additional money to validate if there would be like a demand for your offer. Because like the paid ads, the whole goal of the paid ads is just to get you more traffic. And of course, if your offer sucks, if you get more traffic, it would just do more harm than good for you. And at the same time, I would say content marketing is the most powerful thing, since you can build actually a true connections with people. And something that Alex Formosi says is that he spent 70K on organic marketing and content marketing. And what he says, that amount, that 70K that he spent on producing content would cost him around 2 to 3 millions in paid ads. That's something again that people can realize why organic marketing is better than paid ads at the beginning, and also in the long-term game, because you're building like connections with people.
Yeah, not only is it cheaper, which is the same case on theme pages right now. Promoting on theme pages is cheaper than ads at the moment if you do it wrong. But not only is it cheaper, it's also you have to be less perfect, right? Perfectionism is a big key. I think if you have an ad, you need to have a perfect funnel, you need to have a perfect call to action in order to have people actually click. But if you just do content marketing, it's just so much more natural, and you can put out so much more content, and then maybe one piece of content will get some more traction. It's a lot more powerful, I think. And you've done it for I don't know how long, for years now, and it works perfectly fine.
That is 100% right. That's why I preach this so hard, because I have seen that it works, and I recommend all the people like start using organic marketing ASAP, because that is the future. Like the people that started the earliest are going to have like the most benefits in the long-term game.
In order to create content, I was sometimes struggling with what kind of content I need to create. And my first question is not how do you get video ideas? We'll come to that. But my question is, first of all, how do you personally define your target audience? Do you have a step-by-step how to define your target audience? Or do you just do that naturally, just out of your mind, out of your heart?
Yes, that is again a great question. When it comes to defining your audience, like a lot of people got stuck here, like they think of like, what is my ideal client? Like who should I target? And in the coaching, the best client is your previous self. What do I mean is, in the coaching, we sell a transformation, and the best transformation is our own transformation. So for me, most of my customers, clients, they're always my previous me. For example, when I transitioned into coaching, I was mainly teaching theme page business owners because that's where I had experience. That's where I got the most out of this. So, like the simplest question here when it comes to defining your avatar, just look at your previous self and you will be able to help them the most. So, that is the simplest explanation.
That's smart because you basically know what your struggles have been, right? It's harder to
Yes.
determine what kind of struggles other people have because it requires a lot of market research. And I think it comes more natural if you just go by your own feeling, what you have struggled with in the past. And since you have somehow the same goals as your client, I think defining the goals might be a little bit, necessary.
Yeah.
But then the
Yeah.
struggles are probably the same that you've had. And if you're a little bit further, you have the full capacity to coach people that are not in your spot, right? You can coach anyone basically. This
Exactly.
also drives me to our next question. Coach, like a lot of people are getting to the coaching business, but who is it for? Like, how do I know, for example, me, how do I know I can get into the coaching business? Why me?
Yeah, when it comes to coaching, I would say the best thing that you want to do before starting a coaching is to look if you have any experience and knowledge that you can pass to others. Otherwise, if you have no experience, no real transformation, I don't recommend people to start with coaching. I can recommend them to, for example, learn a high income skill, do something, and then potentially teach other people about that. When it comes to starting, again, it is all about the transformation you had. If you had any transformation in those three evergreen niches, let's say like this, like health, wealth, and relationships, then I would say you definitely want to start with coaching because I'm saying that coaching right now is like dropshipping in 2013.
Yeah.
Like it is the beginning, and as Tony Robbins says, like the coaching industry is going to be like a trillion industry in the next few years. So it is like mandatory for people to start, but only for people that have experience and real knowledge to pass.
Yep.
Otherwise, if you don't have any experience and real knowledge to pass, just go do something and then actually start with the coaching. For example, for me, how I started, I got an experience in theme pages, in organic marketing, and that's when I started with coaching. I didn't start from the beginning. I started first with, gaining a skill, learning a valuable skill, getting results for myself, and then moved into the coaching.
I'm also like partially in the coaching space since I also do theme page coaching. There's a lot of fake coaches, right? And this is exactly what you said, like who are just starting coaching to make money, but they don't have real knowledge. And it's the same thing I always say on theme pages. If you have a shitty product, nobody's gonna buy it. And with coaching, you can, or on theme pages as well, you can convince people that your product is good. But in the end, you have to back it up by data. Is your product really good? Is it worth it? And if it's not worth it, you can actually ruin your reputation and you won't make any money at all. And I think what you said is really awesome. Like you have to have some knowledge before you teach anything. Don't teach people what you don't know, right?
Exactly. It's all about the transformation you had.
There was one sentence you said in one of your videos that was I've written that down and it was so amazing. And it goes like this. If you were stuck in prison and your only way to escape was by building a 5K a month coaching business, most people would be out in 90 days. Why do you think so many people are struggling then? Like why?
Yeah. Again, super great question, Martin. I'm going to explain you like the psychology behind this and what I meant with that. So when it comes to doing something, we do things like motivated by two things. First of all, is moving towards pleasure. And second of all, like escaping, running away from pain. And I'm going to give you like two examples and you like decide which motivation is stronger. Let's say you want to go to a business because you want to take your parents on a nice vacation on Cancun, let's say in Mexico. Of course, you're going to do the work. Yes, you have the motivation, you're going to do the work. Of course, you're going to
Yeah.
get that, but who knows in what kind of time. But now let's imagine this scenario, which is kind of harsher, I would say.
Yep.
Let's say some of your relatives is ill, they need like money for a treatment, and they need this money fast. They need the money, for example, in the next 3 months. I guarantee that you're going to do whatever it takes to
Yep.
get that money. You won't stop. You will hustle as hard as possible. And that's how our brain works. When we escape, when we run away from pain, we're going to do everything. And that's why I gave this example with prison. But when it comes to motivation, when it comes to moving towards pleasure, of course, this is a motivation. We were going to do things, but the stronger one is when we actually run away from pain.
That's smart. It's cool to have the Rolls Royce, to want the Rolls Royce. It's cool to want the house. But if you think to yourself, what if I'm still stuck in the same place as I am right now in 1 year? Dude, imagine your future self looking back, and you look at your future self and you sit there and be like, you haven't done anything? Wow. This is a great analogy. This is a really, really great analogy. I've never heard that. It's really cool. And so you think most people just don't have the right motivation, the right discipline? Is that right?
Yeah, I would say so. They don't have like the exact motivation. And something, I try to do, with my private clients, we have like this exercise of finding their why. And there we actually want to find like the real pain point that they want to escape.
So in order to build a successful coaching business, I think the steps you decided was, first of all, you have to have knowledge about something, then create content. Or I think you had this like ACR formula, was that correct?
Yeah.
So attention, this is probably the personal brand. Then, or some sort of like, what exactly is attention? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so the ACR selling system that we use in terms of starting or scaling a coaching business, A stands for attention. Like the goal there is to create attention towards like your profile using Facebook and Instagram organic marketing. Of course, the attention is you need to have traffic. Otherwise, if you don't have eyeballs on your content, on your offer, you will never get clients. Like that's the reality. Then C, it stands for content. Like we here create a content that sparks the interest in our audience by positioning ourselves as experts, giving them value, and of course educating our audience and establishing ourselves an authority leader. The next C, it stands for conversion. Here's when we convert this attention into booked phone calls, leveraging this skill of appointment setting. And the last C, it stands for closing. Again, we leverage the right high-ticket sales systems to close people on a phone and generate revenue from the business. Of course, a business that doesn't have sales goals, sales at all, and revenue, it is not a business. Like I love saying that a business without sales is like a time-wasting hobby. And R, it stands for results. Of course, when you have a coaching, it is not only just selling people, you should also deliver on what you have promised. And that's why the R stands for. That is like how the ACR selling system is developed. And that is the steps everyone needs to take in order to build or either scale an existing coaching business.
A business without sales is just a hobby. Very good. That's very cool. So results, yes. Very, very, very important. What I also always say, it's the same with your product. If your product's bad, forget it, man. It needs to, what you also always said was, people don't want information, they want transformation, right?
Yes.
And this is exactly what you also meant. I think that's true. I think that's very true. If you hire a coach, sure, you want information, you want the newest information, you want the best information. But I always believe people hire coaches because they lack motivation and they need somebody to push them further, right? And this is exactly that. You need to, the results are not always have to be information given or this and that, but somebody who actually moves you forward by pushing you a little bit.
Yes.
I personally had clients too who had just said, dude, you pushed me. You did not only give me information, but you just pushed me.
Yes.
You said content. Content is important in the ACR formula. Now, how do you determine what content? Oh, should we start in the meeting before that? Very quickly. Bought it. That's the thing. I don't think I'm going to. Else, I might switch to Google Meet. I don't know if it's better. I've had some calls over Google Meet, but I don't know if it's better. gonna see?
I also don't know. I don't use it. I actually have like this Zoom Pro because most of my calls take around 45 minutes, and also
Yeah,
like
no, sure. Now, if it's around the 45-minute mark and you have to do a new meeting for 5 minutes or something, I understand that it's annoying. But most, I mean, yeah.
it is most important like for the sales calls. I mean, for the clients calls, I can do this, but for the sales call, let's say I pitch someone and then like the
Oh,
whole momentum is over. That's
yeah.
like
So that's annoying. All
yeah.
right. So in the ACR system, you say content is very important, which is for organic marketing very important. How do you determine what kind of content to post that will actually be interesting and valuable for potential clients?
Yes, that is again a great question, Martin. When it comes to like figuring out what kind of content to post, I would say that your whole content strategy should be organized about educating the audience, which is the most important thing, aka giving value, and establishing yourself as an authority leader. You want to imagine that you have a digital bank account. And with your content, you're making positive deposits. You're making deposits. And then when you decide to make a withdrawal by asking people, for example, to join your coaching program, you want to have like an always positive balance. That means you want to give as much value as possible with your content into this like digital bank. And when you decide to ask, you just like get small amount of that, and that's how you always want to proceed with the content. Content should be all organized around value, and a really important piece I would say is telling your story, because your story is like one of the most powerful tool in terms of getting clients. This way, people will feel connected with you. And in terms of coaching, connection is like one of the most important thing. People need to trust you as a coach. Again, people don't buy coaching, they buy coaches. That's why they need to relate with you. And as you know, in the sales, there is a factor which is called KLT. People need to know you, like you, and trust you. The best way to do so is by telling your story. And just a bonus tip I can give to the listeners, something that they can use in terms of getting more clients is leveraging clients' results. When people see you have helped someone in their situation, they would be more likely to join your program. And of course, this will increase the trust and you can show a social proof. So I would say those type of contents work pretty well. Content that gives value, that establish yourself as an authority leader, telling your story, and also using your client results to quote unquote brag with them and get clients at the same time.
Yeah. I know that some people are scared to share their story, which I also have, because I seem like I always have this feeling my story is not good enough. I mean, nobody wants to hear what I've done 1 year ago. But it is, as you said, a good way to hook somebody and say, I was in the same place. Or to just build a connection, right? And from the content to the conversions, what's your step there? I know that you work with stories very often. I'm not sure if you want to share this, but that you work. How do your sales stories look like, or how do you call them?
Yeah, so the thing I'm using in terms of getting clients, I'm using sequences. I'm going to share like the secret gems because of course it's all about like giving as much value as possible, and I hope that the listeners would also take action, not only just like listen this for like a sake of entertainment. Something that I'm using in terms of getting clients and in my marketing, as I mentioned, I'm using sequences. I use engagement sequence and acquisition sequence. That's how they are called inside my program. Engagement sequence is all about depositing into this like quote unquote digital bank, depositing as much value as possible. I'm sharing my story, I'm giving value to people, I'm sharing actionable stuff and giving as much free stuff as possible. And I depend on like the point I'm currently at, I decide for how many weeks to do so, doing this engagement sequence. And then for a week or two, I do this engagement sequence where I actually withdraw from this digital bank. I withdraw some of the value I put it. And of course, I put it a lot of value into this bank account. And then when I ask people for getting something back, it is way, way more easier. I mean, Gary Vee explains this perfectly. Jab, jab, hook. That means give, give, get. Or even a better analogy here that Alex Hormozi uses is just give, and potentially receive. That is something that I'm using, of course. In the acquisition sequences, just to mention, I'm using like a lot of scarcity and urgency so people can join the program. And in the acquisition, it's all about like giving this value. That's how this whole sales marketing sequence can be done for a coaching business, and that's what I'm using.
Jab, jab, hook. Very cool. So, how much time in a day do you use for I would have called it outreaching, but not outreaching. You engage basically for just engagement sequence. How much time is it in a day?
Yeah, the whole engagement sequence, engagement sequence, I mean, like the content. That is, how it's called. When it comes to creating content, I have built like a system that, is helping me to create content super fast. And I'm doing this most of the time at the beginning of the day in my morning deep work session. Why I'm doing this in the morning is because I have no distractions, everything is clear. And in the mornings, we're like the most creative, I would say. So that's where I do like most of the content. Of course, I have built myself like different frameworks, and I just follow the frameworks based on the idea I built the content from there. And now, of course, with Chat GPT, it helps me a lot to speed up the whole process in terms of getting ideas and, of course, applying those ideas into action.
How do you use Chat GPT to grow your business right now? Your coaching business. Seems difficult.
It can be difficult, but again, something that Alex Hormozi mentioned is that most of the people thought that AI would replace first those like lower tier jobs, but actually it is doing like the opposite. It is replacing the creative jobs. How I'm using like the Chat GPT for growing my business, I'm mainly using it for content. Like for now, I don't know how else to use it, or I don't see any other purpose. I'm using it to create content. Chat GPT is all about asking the right questions. If you know how to ask the right questions, you're going to get lots of gems and you're going to speed the whole process. As I mentioned to you, Martin, for me, it is all about, first of all, figuring out the topic. When I figure out the topic I want to do the content about, I know, of course, what kind of sequence I am. What I do then, I just ask ChatGPT, create a content following this framework. Of course, for each day, I have a framework for the content. Give him the topic, of course, boom. He gave me an example. I just export this text. I see what I can add, what I can remove. I'm adding a personal elements. And that's how I'm using like everything to speed up the process. And I would say it has been a game changer, and it saves me a lot of time.
Actually, so it works for your business. It's not just a nice to have feature, but it actually helps.
Yes.
That's crazy. Yeah, ChatGPT, what a thing. All of my school friends do their homework with it. I mean, I don't do my homework, so I don't even have to worry about that. But no, but listen, there's so much stuff you can do with ChatGPT. It throws you tables, it throws in everything. It's amazing, and it works for businesses too, and especially for content. Content ideas. I used to struggle with content ideas, especially when I had times where I was kind of had too much dopamine, kind of. There was nothing in my head, right?
Yeah.
And ChatGPT, I'll have to take a look at that, definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Some people, let's say they have a coaching business, everything works, their product is great, their marketing is great, their content is great, but the people come in, but they don't make real good money. They pay too much for getting information, and then they don't really make profits. What do you recommend people who have a business, but their profits are like very low, their margins are low?
Yeah, that is a tough problem that people can have in any kind of business. But something about the coaching business, I would say, like this business has like one of the highest profit margins if you know how to utilize them. To give an example and to make a comparison, dropshipping itself, profit margins are around 10, 12, 30% maximum, because you have tons of expenses for ads, for shipping, for storage, returns, and they go on and on. Profit margins, they're around 10 to 30%. Agency, it's around like I would say 50% or so. But that's when you have a team. At the beginning, of course, it is more about a job. Like you do everything on your own. You do outreaching the job and everything. And then when you have a team, your profit margins go around like 50 to 60% depends on what kind of contracts you can find. And for the coaching, if you do everything solo, it can be like 100%. You just have, for example, here and there some expenses about softwares, for example, but you don't even need to pay for softwares. The other thing that can lower the profit margins of a coaching industry is basically when you have a team. But when you have a team, I would say that the profit margins don't go that much low. For example, for some can go like to 70, 80% if they have like a full team. When I say full team, I mean a team of appointment setter, closing, managers of the pages. Of course, they can have at the same time editors and so on. Then profit margins can go low. Otherwise, it's all about like optimizing your business at the right way. As I mentioned, if you're running the business solo, you don't even want to worry about those things. You can just like do everything on your own and not worry about, of course, expenses. When you grow, then you would actually need a team. And of course, the profit margins won't go that much low. You can find, for example, people doing like different tasks for a fixed amount, and you know you're making XYZ amount. So like the profit margins won't go that low. It's all about optimizing the systems in a right way, seeing where you can delegate and what you can delegate. Of course, at the beginning, you don't want to delegate like the most important thing.
Yeah.
For example, you don't want to, let's say, delegate the coaching itself because you don't know if you're going to get the results for your clients. I would recommend first delegating like some of the marketing stuff, like creating content. When I say creating, I don't mean like just telling your story and so on. I mean editors, people that distribute the content. Then you want to hire some appointment setters just to increase the amount of calls that you have. When you don't have a capacity to take all of the calls, you can then start hiring closers. From there, from those closers and appointment setters, you can hire managers for them to manage them. And then at the end, you can go and outsource like the client success departure of your business. That's how I look at it. Of course, you can like take a different route. It's all depends on the kind of coaching services you offer, but it's like the general framework people can follow.
Depends what you're comfortable with, I think, as well. Yes. I mean, if you're not comfortable in your own business, it's probably also not very good. Delegating. I also had like, if you want to know this, I also had huge problems with delegating. I delegated too much work to other people at the beginning. I probably lost $6,000-$7,000 to account management that I should not have needed. And I would have gotten more experience doing it myself, which I had the experience already, but I was kind of, in order to have a business, I need to spend money to make money, which was not really the case, huh? And I've lost a lot of money for that delegating. For the lazy people, you also said when your margins are low, but you have time, 50-50 method.
Yeah.
Right? So increase your prices by 50% and increase the sales calls, I think, by 50%.
Yeah.
And this will get you better results.
Yeah.
For what you also said is very interesting. But like when I raise my prices, are there not more objections then? Isn't the biggest objection, man, I don't have money?
Yeah, at the end of the day, when people throw objections, it is not that they don't have the money. Most of the time when you speak with qualified people, they have money, they have the resources, they can leverage resources from someone else. At the end of the day, it's because they don't see the value and the return of the investment of the services. Like something I have noticed is that closing higher tier clients is way more easier than closing lower tier clients. Like those lower tier clients would always worry, hey, would I make my money back? Oh, I don't know right now. It is only the money I have. I don't want to start. That is something I have experienced. Maybe it is different, but it is based on my current knowledge and expertise. Those lower tier clients are kind of harder. So the higher tier clients, when they actually see the value, like again, of course, it's totally up to you how you're going to present this value. When they see the value in your services, like the closing would be way more easier. At the end of the day, it always comes back to the foundations. Foundations are having the right offer and creating this irresistible offer. When you have this offer, when you present your offer the right way, when your prospect sees that your offer is valuable and it is worth, let's say 5x, 10x than the actual price, they will just join. Like at the end of the day, as I mentioned, the finances and the resources aren't the problem. It is the value they see inside the program you have.
Yeah. It's the same with theme pages, by the way. objections normally don't come in sales. It's mostly sales. The objections normally don't come because the price is too high, but either because you're targeting the wrong people, or you are not really saying what you get. Like, what does the client get? These are normally the two things I have noticed. Objections are gonna come no matter what. If you have a $47 coaching, if you have a $4,700 coaching, objections are gonna come anyway, right?
Yes.
Burke, I have some sort of knowledge in something. And now I want to become a coach.
Yeah.
And I want you to help me. Where do I message you and how do I get to work with you?
Yeah, people can message me, of course, at my main Instagram account, at my personal brand, at businessgmp. Of course, they can, send me a message, for example, that they have listened to this podcast, so I know, like, where those people come. And from there, like, if someone is potentially interested to work with me, of course, like, we don't just, like, accept people randomly. They need to go through a qualification process. Most of the time, they either jump on a call with me or a team or one of my team members. And from there, we just, go into that qualification phase. Like, we want to see if what we do and if what you want to do aligns. If we're both fit to work together, then we actually speak about getting you started and so on. At the end of the day, for us, it's all about building long-lasting relationships, working with quality people and getting them amazing results. Because if we just accept random people, of course, like, the culture inside the program would be kind of random and it won't be beneficial for everyone. And at the same time, if I don't feel like I can help you, I would be the first person that's going to say, hey, maybe at this point I can help you. You can just go check this guy. If I know someone, I'm going to refer them. As I mentioned, at the end of the day, for me, it's all about building those relationships and being honest, like, when it comes to helping.
Yes. So please, if you have some sort of knowledge in anything, most people don't make money because they're too lazy, especially on Instagram, especially on social media. They're just too lazy, but they have some sort of knowledge and then they say, this is scam, this is scam. No, if you have some sort of knowledge and you want to become a coach, Burke is there. If you need any help, I mean, I'm pretty sure Burke is going to give away information for free so much. He's done that with me. He's an amazing guy. If you want to start being a coach, if you want to start your own personal brand, you can message Burke, Business GMP. Wherever you're watching this, I'm going to have this either in the caption or in the bio or in the comments, wherever you're watching this. Hit him up with a message if you are starting your own coaching business.
Exactly. And also, if they want to see even more free value, if they don't want to potentially work with me, they can check also my YouTube channel. Of course, there I'm making tons of free trainings. They can find lots of value. They can ask questions. And yeah, most of the time, as you said, Martin, it's all about their dedication and commitment. If they're dedicated, they're going to do everything to get started. No matter if this is a coaching, theme page, agency, dropshipping, it's all about the dedication you have.
Most people don't start and they stay lazy. If you once start, you at least get the knowledge and you at least know if it's something for you or not. But you have to at least once start. Thank you very much, Burke. That was everything I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Martin, for having me here. It was a pleasure.